Welcome. Are you a woman who's tired of being played with by your emotions and you're ready to grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life? This is a channel for you. I'm Veronica Rosa, an emotional wellness coach, and I am here today to go over different your emotional energy, your chakra energy, your chakra system, and do help you do a self-assessment to see where your emotions are blocked, so that we can stop sabotaging our dreams for love, money, and physical wealth and abundance, and let's start working towards goals and manifesting our dreams into reality. So let me just take a quick look here. Hello, welcome. I am back, ladies. I am exhausted. It is Friday. Happy Friday. It is about 5:30. I'm in Puerto Rico. We were able to escape. We were able to survive that horrible Hurricane Milton that was on its way to Florida. Thank God it missed us. We were in Naples. It missed our area. We didn't. I still. We're still waiting on confirmations from um, our work area and the Airbnb that we were renting. But I think that we are safe from floods and what else. We're waiting to see if we have electricity so that we can get back to work. So man, it's just been one thing after another. And as I'm sitting here talking, I am getting used to my new braces, but it does feel weird when I start talking a lot. So I miss you. I miss you, ladies. So remember that one page in your emotional wellness workbook. These are for the people who have been to our retreats. You have received a woman's wellness workbook that helps share your story, identify which chakras, which emotions are blocking you from obtaining your true goals. And in your emotional wellness workbook, there's a page that helps you assess whether or not you're healthy, broken, or toxic. And so I have been going over the past five, six, seven segments. I don't even remember anymore. It's so if we go down the list of the traits here, there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. And okay, there's like 12 of them, and I've already been through nine of the different traits. I was hoping to get this all done within one podcast, but I shortly realized that, or quickly realized that this was taking me forever. It was going to take me forever to get through. So I'm actually going through only two traits per video. And so in the previous lives, I was going through each trait. I was reading through my little script here that I have, and let me pull this back down. And so I was just using like generic examples. And so since I've had about it's been like 3 weeks that I've been off already. Since I got my braces, I was able to go on a trip with my mom on an 8-day cruise. That was so empowering. It was so such a beautiful thing, an opportunity that I had. And so creating memories with my mom was uplifting and empowering. And for me personally, one thing that I've been working on for myself is my throat chakra. And so I did a karaoke for the first time in public, which was awesome to have my mom and my husband there as my supporters and applauding me. But doing karaoke in public for me was more about like, oh, you think you sing good, or which, I don't sing horrible. I did take like choir courses in middle school or high school. Um, but really, it was more of an empowering for me to like get in front of a group of people and singing horribly, because I realized that when you do karaoke, it's not the same version. They like slow it down, or they'll change it a little bit where it's like a remix of it, not the original. And then you have all these people looking at you and applauding you, and people just know that you're nervous, and so they support you. But still, it was a way of breaking free of a fear that's no longer serving my purpose in communicating. And that fear could have been blocked through trauma that I passed as a child, or just behavior habits that I was taught as a child. And so I've been slowly, for the past few years, 6 or so years for sure, in the past, I believe 6 years now, I've been journaling, keeping track of like a daily habit tracker, and then working on my circle of life. Let me show you the circle of life. In the circle of life, we have all these sectors. We have your health, you have your creativity. So in the field of creativity, that's where I incorporated journaling. So journaling and vision board, and then creating an action plan to go with my vision board and slowly working towards that vision. The first vision, or my goal, was had to do with my physical health. So later on, I will be finding pictures so I can show you to show you my story. So, but it started with health. So the first year or so, probably even like longer, like 2, 3, 4 years, I just really focused on my mental health and my physical health. And while still building my business, my nail business, and from there going into my integrative nutritional health coaching. And so each year, as I've been upgrading, I've been working. It's like layers of layers of a onion. So I started with creativity, with journaling, creating a goal to go with my physical wellness, and working on that for years. Give me 1 second. I have somebody here at the window. My husband and my father-in-law are outside the window cutting a tree or something. So sorry for the background noise. Okay, so the circle of life, right? So I started off with the first few years working on my physical health. And then was working on my relationships, like with my mother, my husband, my sister, and then working on finances with through my occupation, after finishing my classes and my continuing education to now do this life coaching and doing it online. So I had to still, in the education field, learn certain skills so that I can come up here and do these podcasts and whatnot. And so I have here home cooking, having a hard time. Oh, home environment, home cooking, spirituality, and joy. And so joy sounds like a luxury, and joy is not a luxury. I'm here to remind you that joy is not a luxury. Joy is a sector of our wellness. And so that one was a hard one for me to go on this trip with my mom. I'm always used to traveling and making it like a business thing. Like, I'm gonna go see my mom, but I'm gonna take my nail stuff and I'm gonna do her nails and I'm gonna do her friend's nails and I'm gonna promote myself for doing nails. Like, I always, or have a journal or my computer, and I'm always like trying to do readings. Or and I had hauled up my mic, my computer, my phones and everything, because I was like, I'm gonna still work on my podcast while I'm there. But while I was there, I had to really remind myself that joy is not a luxury. It is a part of having a healthy well-being. And so being able to set boundaries, being able to set boundaries and say, I'm going to go have one-on-one time with my mom, like that's like a huge leap within myself, and in healing old beliefs and old patterns that no longer serves our highest purpose. And I'll tell you, I'll get deeper into that as we go along here. So let's see. So today I'm just gonna go over all of the past traits So you look, if you have your women's wellness workbook, if you do not have a workbook, you can now get your women's wellness workbook through an ebook, through my website, and you can just click on the description box there below and go through my website at vitalityvalueswellness.com, and you can read more about the ebook that's available. This is a page from the workbook. And so if we go down the list of traits, I've gone down, and we've talked about the past 9 traits. And so we're going to explore the concepts of healthy, broken, or toxic traits in relationships and do a self-assessment. So we'll dive into understanding these traits and how they manifest in our lives and ways to move towards healthier patterns. So let's begin. Let's start off with self-love. So in somebody who, I'm gonna just make this smaller so that it makes sense. So right now we're going over the self-assessment page in your Women's Wellness Workbook. And so the what I want you to do is, when it comes to self-love, I want you to identify if your behavior is quote unquote healthy, um or healed. I like to change it to healed. Or are you a broken soul, or are you just straight up toxic? And being toxic is actually a survival mechanism. And so if you have, if don't be hard on yourself. This is not a time to judge and be hard on yourself and say, oh, I'm toxic. This is a time to admit the truth and act accordingly. And I just want to remind you that toxic behaviors come from people who have been victimized. And if you've been victimized, you will react in behaviors that is either illegal or immoral. And then plus we have the whole woman, feminine and masculine energy, where the masculines applaud toxic behavior. And so if our men are applauding each other for their toxic behavior, how are women not going to be, um you know, how are we not going to be, how can we be the better version of ourselves if we are dealing with toxic men that we depend on? Okay. And so these are the topics that we'll go over. We're going to go through each trait, and I'm going to share some stories of myself on how I used to respond, how I used to be toxic, and now how I have healed my those areas. So like the first areas of self-love. Somebody with self-love is going to have high self-love and self-respect. Somebody who's quote unquote broken, or I would just really say like normal. Most people, we all have a broken soul, which is low self-esteem and low self-worth. And then we have the times, because you know sometimes we are a little of the three, and so we can teeter totter into either healed, um, broken, or unbalanced, and toxic behaviors. And so a toxic behavior in self-love would be very inconsistent self-view. Sometimes it can be like, oh, I like conceited. And as conceit is not confidence. And so there's two different um two it's a there's two differences in when you perceive somebody with self-love, when they're like all confident. You make sure that that it's not really being conceited versus confidence. And still, even then, you can have somebody who's confident in a certain area of their life or their skills, but yet still not have true self-love. And so let's explore how self-love will look in a settings, in a relationship setting, with somebody who is who has a high self-love and self-respect and will demonstrate the feelings. So um somebody with health science, with a who is healthy in their self-love and self-respect, is that we're going to set boundaries. We're going to set boundaries on what we consume and our physical activity. So uh at this point in our time of lives, my husband and I are both, we set boundaries on what we are consuming. We are aware of what we're consuming, and we will aim to avoid foods that is not in a line for our goals. And our goals can be different depending on what it is, because I do our goals quarterly. So or at least for myself, I'll be like, okay, this month, what I want to work on? Do I want to work on my carbs? Do I want to work on sugar? But for the most part, what we try to work on is avoid soda, avoid smoking, going to the gym at or working out at least 30 minutes a day, avoid more than 30 grams of sugar a day, avoid fast food. And so those are like the top five when we are expressing self-love and self-discipline and self-worth. So how does it look like if I'm broken and when it comes to self-love? It could be, and it can be different, because maybe there's times where I'm high and strong and within my self-love and self-respect, but maybe he's like feeling a little down, and he's, you know, and it's kind of like a hormone depression. And so they can say, let's go to the gym, or let's, you know, um this is not going as I was planned. So I don't want it to be like so confusing. So this is all in the subconscious, right? When you are have a broken self-love or self-worth, it's usually in the subconscious. So you're not consciously aware, like, oh, I'm not loving myself today. Maybe you've gained a little weight and you're just kind of feeling bloated and irritable. Maybe it's just that time of the month where your hormones are off or unbalanced. And so um for the example of a healthy relationship and self-love, I can say, baby, let's go to the gym. Okay, baby, let's cut out the carbs and let's avoid restaurants and let's go on a sugar, let's go on a detox. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna get this here. Here's the magnesium, here's potassium, this, and you know, cheers, happy, you know. That's like a healthy self-love in both relationships. Both of us are reacting and responding in ways that are healthy when it comes to self-love and self-worth, self-respect. Okay, now let's do the example in the self-love. Let's say I have self-love and self-respect, but he's feeling a little low. He's like, he's broken in that area. It could be like, hey, we should go on a diet. Let's go to the gym. You know, you shouldn't drink that diet soda. You know what, the broken soul would be like, we should add some Tito's to this soda, you know, make it a party." And so then maybe there's like, we don't go to the gym together. It's like, whatever, let's, or maybe we'll have a drink. In a toxic setting where there's no self-love, self-respect, let's say, again, the gym. Let's go to the gym. If you're being toxic, it'll come out like in the subconscious, like your reaction will show up like, what do you mean I have to go to the gym? Why, what? Were you calling me fat? What, you don't love me the way I am? And so, and so that's, instead of saying, yeah, yeah, let's go to the gym. So it's all like in the subconscious and how we perceive ourselves. And so then you can be like, oh, well, screw it. Like, you know, let's, you know, then there's usually like in the toxic environment, there's agitation, there's, um, you may be like offended or make irrelevant comments based on hurt memories from the past just to justify the way that you are. And so then there can be a moment of like, F it, I'm done, whatever, let's both get drunk. And then, there's alcohol and that toxic environment. Then, the subconscious, we're still thinking about these, he doesn't think I'm good enough. But it doesn't matter what he thinks you're good. He just suggested let's go to the gym. It's about what you think about yourself and how you evaluate your self-love, your own self-love, and your own self-worth, and your own self-respect, where you're like, oh yeah, I love myself, I want to take care of myself, I want to take care of my body. Yeah, let's go to the gym, let's do this together. And so it's all the mindset. So I want you to pay attention on on how you react in different areas when it comes to self-love. Are you having clear boundaries? Are you communicating respectfully? Are you acceptance of compliments and constructive feedback or constructive criticism? Are you prioritizing your self-care? And so that is an example of having a healthy or a healed soul when it comes to the first trait there on your healthy, broken, or toxic self-evaluation. And so where do you lie? Where do you lie? And again, there's no judgment if you find yourself in the toxic category. That's good that you're on this page, because this channel is for women just like you and I, who have found ourselves being in a toxic environment, being toxic within ourselves. And possibly, like, I don't know for you, but for me, the reason I changed was I was gonna either end up murking somebody, or I'll end up myself either behind bars or 6 feet under. And I don't, that's not what I want. And so I had to start doing a self-evaluation. Okay, is it me, is it him? And then where is it I can grab the bull by its horns and take responsibility for my actions and say, okay, maybe I am being a little toxic here. Well, why do I feel like that? What's triggering these emotions? And start working on different reactions and different habits that's going to help boost the self-love, so that you are reacting in a healthy manner. And that would be, where we respect ourselves, we set clear boundaries, we prioritize self-care, while also fostering open and respectful communication with our partners. Whew. And so, how long did that take me to explain? Okay. So yeah, definitely, as you can see, like, just for me to get down to just the first one, it took like 20 minutes. And so there are 9 different sectors there, different character traits. And so I don't think I'm gonna try to go through all 9. I wanted to go through all 9, and then I was hoping to be able to quickly recap all 9, but for each 9 I had to tell 3 different stories, and that's just gonna take too long. So I hope that self-care, self-love example made sense to you. Let's just go ahead and skip down towards the one that I haven't talked about, which is the next on the list. Growth. We're going to talk about examples of supportiveness and being supportive and growth mindset. And so, okay, so if you look here, okay, so when we look at growth mindset, would you say you are open to learn, resistant, or have fixed views? So what does that look like in a relationship setting? How can that manifest in a relationship setting? Um, So your, not the growth mindset. Okay, well, let's just do growth mindset. I wasn't on that one, but we'll do that one. Okay, we'll do the growth mindset and then we'll go back up to the supportiveness. So, in the growth mindset, let's explore how growth mindsets manifest in relationships through these different lenses of being healthy, broken, and toxic. Understanding these can help us recognize our patterns and work towards healthier relationships. So when I say healthy, let's say like healed, a healed soul. Broken is like unbalanced soul, and toxic, well, toxic is just a toxic person, toxic soul. Okay, if you are healthy and you and both of your partners are in a healthy relationship, let me give you another example of and in a healthy relationship settings, being open to learning and self-improvement will demonstrate in the following. So at the moment, we are, my husband and I are both going to the gym together. By doing that, it has opened up his mind to more possibilities of self-healing, of weight management, of boosting his productivity, his energy, of sleeping a lot better. And so that's like also opened up his mind to look at other other supplements and try new supplements. Like recently I was on the cruise with my mom and he sent me a link that he wanted me to order him magnesium and potassium. In my past, this man was so toxic. He was like, we were using drugs and you know, living life to the fullest and just fast foods um and yeah, and so yeah, if I would say let's go to the gym, he was like, let's go. What do you want to go to the gym for, huh? Who you going with? Or vice versa. You know, I'd be jealous because jealousy stems from fear of abandonment. And so if you feel that your partner is going to go to the gym and look better, it may trigger in your subconscious fear of abandonment. So then that toxic behavior of jealousy, who you trying to look good for, or who you going over there, or yeah, right, you're not going there. And so then fights can start from that. You may have resentment. You dwell, you may not communicate your needs for fear of being misunderstood. Then you start to isolate yourself and medicate with drugs and alcohol. And that's what it looks like in a toxic environment when it comes to like a growth mindset. Like now, for in our situation, for him, like he, it was like, you know, more macho. I don't need to do this, I'm good, and there's remedies for this and that if I really have an issue. He had a tragic car accident that left him in a it fractured his femur, and so he needed me. He couldn't get up and leave. He wasn't no more using drugs or alcohol. He couldn't go to the bar. He needed me, and it was during time of COVID, so we were home isolated, and we really had to work on our emotional energy centers, our emotional triggers, and break free from old patterns. And so him being injured forced him to break free from using and running from his problems. So he had to like, well, first, you know, I was in control of what he was eating. The doctor said that his hair was going to grow back, that he wasn't going to get back to work in over a year. And we he was able to recover within 2 weeks. His hair grew back. They said that he would be bald in that spot because the car dragged him down the asphalt. And so by me putting oils on him and feeding him high valued food like greens, you know, vegetables, plant-based foods basically, and using essential oils and just pure positive energy, he healed right away. And so that was like, oh wow, this works. And so that triggered him to do better, to eat better, but yet it was like, okay, well, let's go to the gym. I don't need to go to the gym. I work out, I go down enough steps at my work. I don't need to go to the gym. I'm like, but the gym is a different, it's not, it's cardio, it's, mental health, it's, it's moving all your body, you have strength, there's a lot of things that is different. Just because you're working and going up and down the steps at work, or, you're sweating a lot at work, it's not the same for going and intentionally working on something, at a gym. And so, in a broken soul is kind of like doesn't believe, oh, I don't need that, I do it enough over here, I sweat enough over here. Well, I'm going, okay, well, you can go. So one of them setting boundaries and saying, okay, I'm gonna go, and the other one's like, well, I don't need to. And I healed, it's like, oh yes, let's go together, and let's learn from this. And maybe we'll start off with, running in the treadmills. But as we're running in the treadmills, we're thinking about how can we continue to self-improve. Hey, what does weights do? Let's go start weightlifting. And so we're constantly open to learning new habits, it's in order to self-improve. So that is the example of a growth mindset. Let me know in the comments of what you think when it comes to your growth mindset. Where do you evaluate yourself when it comes to your growth mindset? Would you say you're healed, your growth mindset, you're open to learning new things, or do you feel that you are resistant, or do you have fixed views? Like, I've have had friends where it's like, hey, you're overweight, that can lead to, heart attacks, and maybe you should start using or dieting or doing this. And they're like, no, it's okay. There's doctors who will put a stent in. You could just take some medication and you can be fine. Maybe they have fixed views, and they're not willing to open, or they're not willing to they're not willing to open their mind to new possibilities and different ways of being. um so yeah, so let's go up from the cheat sheet, that not your cheat sheet, but your healthy, broken, and toxic assessment sheet. Above the mindset is supportiveness. So in supportive, do you feel that you are encouraging, dependent, or demeaning? When it comes to you and your partners, are you an encouraging person? Are you dependent? Do you depend on them? Or demeaning? And what does that mean, demeaning? It sounds like so horrible and so cruel. But again, remember that these traits, even mostly these toxic traits, it's learned behavior as survival skills. We needed this to survive at one time, but we no longer need this to survive. So let's go over the three different lenses on how examples of being supportive can look like in a healthy, broken, or toxic environment. Understanding these can help us recognize our patterns that and work towards having healthier relationships. So, I my example here for healthy, for being a healthy support and supportive in my relationships is, I encouraged my husband to stop being an employee and to start his own business. Like, I highly encouraged him to not worry about applying for a job and saying, what, now's the time for you. Let's create you an EIN. Let's create you a business. Let's get you create a email, and you can do this. I know other women in that setting, they would, are usually coming from broken, fear-based souls, and somebody with broken would feel like insecure or doubt their self-worth. And somebody, a woman like that, even himself, like his past ex, when he first started his first business, he quit his job and said, I'm gonna start his business. And she was like, are you crazy? um you can't do that. She actually, in my opinion, went even too toxic, where she was like, I'm divorcing you. They weren't actually married, but I'm separating from you. You're a piece of bank man. How are you gonna quit your job and you'll have a daughter to support? And like making, belittling him, making him feel that he is not making the right decisions. So eroding the partner's self-esteem, like by criticizing, belittling him, and dismissing your partner's goals and accomplishments. Again, that can stem in the subconscious, that can stem from fear. Like fear, it can be jealousy, fear of abandonment. If they get this job and they do really good, maybe they're gonna leave me for another woman, or they're gonna make more money, they're certainly gonna leave me. And so sometimes, because we are broken within our souls, and we don't have self-worth, we somebody with a broken soul, when it comes to being like supportiveness, you'll be someone who's constantly seeking reassurance or validation. You may feel insecure without your partner's approval. You may doubt your self-worth. You may create imbalances in the relationships, and struggle with confidence and independence. For me, by the time I helped him, I had already worked through my my triggers and my fears, where I didn't feel secure enough or self-confident enough, and I did mine. So when I set mines up, I was able to uplift them and say, you're gonna be okay, come on, follow me, do it, push. And so I want you to think, how do you support a partner's new ideas or endeavors of wanting to like start a new business. If they just said, I want to quit my job that's a 9 to 5, that gives you financial security for the weekly check, even though you're making, minimum wage, $20, and even 20, let's say you're making $20, let's say you're making $25 an hour, which is really good in nowadays. And you have health benefits. It's a 9 to 5, you know your hours. You go in, you punch in, you check out, and then all of a sudden, and you are not working, and your partner says, and you have kids, just throw that in there too, and your partner says, I hate my job, I'm gonna quit, and I'm gonna start washing cars. Are you gonna be encouraging and uplifting? Are you going to be insecure and create uh imbalance, because um you don't have self-worth, you don't trust in your own self-worth? Or are you going to criticize your partner and belittle them and dismiss your partner's goals? So think about that. And again, by understanding these examples, we can better recognize our own behaviors and work towards healthier patterns of being supportiveness in our relationships. It's important to strive for a balance where we encourage and uplift each other, fostering a supportive and positive environment. So think about, how do you react, how the dynamics of your relationship, if you're in a relationship, and if you're not in a relationship, think about, how did you act in previous relationships, and could that have been something that was sabotaging your dreams for true love, for financial abundance, for physical health? I want you to think about that. And so we have gone over the growth mindset and supportiveness of your healthy, broken, and toxic worksheet in your women's wellness workbook. Again, if you do not have a women's wellness workbook, you can purchase your ebook through my website at vitalityvalueswellness.com. If this is making sense to you and you would like to work with me one-on-one, you could also message me and we can I'll give you a free discovery call so we get to know each other, and I can let you know how I could help you, if I can help you, and how we can work together moving forward. The next section that we're going to work on or talk about or discuss is trust and respect. And so the first thing is identifying where are our flaws, where are our strengths, and what is our weakness, and revising that, dissecting it, and see if maybe perhaps what we think is a weakness, maybe it's actually our strength. And so keep your mind open to new possibilities. With love and light, everything is possible. I'm here to share that with you and teach you different ways by helping you open your mind, or not open your mind, but tap into your subconscious mind to why it is that you may be reacting the way that you react, what are your personal triggers, and how you can stop those behaviors that are no longer serving your highest good to achieve your main goal, which, whether if it's in love, finance, physical health, and just pure, I mean, everybody wants peace and love. So having $1 million, a billion, multimillionaire, even the billionaires are miserable and depressed when they haven't found their true purpose, and are not living in the pure of love and light and joy. So um, let's start first with healing ourselves, being the trailblazer in moving forward and taking action. And regardless of your partner is acting in toxic ways, trust me, when you start pulling your power back and start acting in healthier ways, you're going to trigger a lot of more demons, and you're going to be tested. And so working with the coach, having a supportive group, like-minded women who are working towards similar goals, is very powerful. I encourage you to join our team, not just me as a one-on-one coach, but you could also join me as a group setting. I actually have a retreat coming January 7th through the 11th, 2025. We're going to Dominican Republic for 5 days, where we will go through a woman's empowerment to workbook to help give you the space to share your stories, and an opportunity to rewrite your story so that it's no longer, a victim or something that happened to you, but something that you will have survived, something that you have learned, and then where it is that you want to go going forward, by creating not just a powerful vision board, but an action plan to go with your vision board, and be held accountable in 90-day intervals, so that because it's the consistency of these daily habits that all of a sudden it feels like there's nothing, and all of a sudden it's like it feels like, oh, your lucky day, or you got, yeah, again, like you got lucky. But no, it's not luck. Is that we have grabbed the bull by its horns, and we're taking action, taking action, and we're not just reacting to life as it comes. We're taking action by identifying what it is that we truly want. What is the emotional triggers? How do I react? Is that in alignment with my main goal? If not, how do I change that? Or where is it that I need to change? And I help you identify all those different emotions, and help you figure out where it is that you want to work on in your life, and what season you're in. I hope that makes sense. Leave a comment if you're watching this, and below let me know where you're from, if you have your women's wellness workbook. If not, if you would like your own personal women's wellness workbook, um, or if you would like to join us on this next retreat. I'm just looking for 6 to 10 women to get together for the purpose of uplifting, empowering, and most importantly is joy, creating joy. Joy is not it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. And by doing so, you can create opportunities to break free from emotional trauma. So like for me, over me going on a cruise with my mom, help me break free from traumas, setting boundaries, communicating my needs, opening my throat chakra, opening my solar plexus chakra, but my self-confidence, my, taking my power back, and, my heart, having, living in love and light, and forgiveness and trust and faith, trusting in God that everything, that is in divine time, and within divine purpose, and using the imagination to see the answers. And so it's helping you tap into your subconscious, become in alignment with yourself so that you are balanced, healthy, and healed and whole um, to manifest your deepest desires. I'm living my dreams, and I know that you can live yours. So with that, I am signing off, sending you much love, enjoy, and hopefully it'll be tomorrow that I can have time to get back on. It's been a little tough since all this moving around. We moved out of the apartment that we lived in for 7 years. So all of a sudden, it was like I got the braces. Bam! I got invited to the cruise. I had to clean out my apartment before, because we moved out October 1st, and I came back from the cruise September 29th. And then as soon as I got home from the cruise, picked up the last and cleaned the house, moved from the Atlantic side to the Gulf to the Pacific side of Florida, unpacked, was getting ready, did one video, one live, and then had to pack up again to evacuate Hurricane Milton. And I am currently now in Puerto Rico, and now we're just waiting to get news on what's the damage, and when book our tickets and all so that we can go back home. So along with having to attend to the business that's really bringing me money right now, and so having to set that balance within myself, that masculine and feminine energy, between both of me and my husband, and our businesses, and having to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna have to um set the coaching business aside for a little bit, or just work on certain areas so that I can focus on the taxes and the accounting and all that other boring stuff. But the thing is that the devil is trying to stop me, and I'm not going to let him stop, because I want to teach you how to go from fear, confusion, feeling helplessness, submissive, weak, insecure, foolish, anxious, embarrassed, jealous, hurt, frustrated, angry, guilt, bashful, stupid, ashamed, depressed, miserable, inadequate, lonely, bored, sleepy, inferior, selfish, hostile, rage, furious, hateful, irritable, critical, and skeptical. And I want you to get rid of that all in the name of God, and replace that with pensive, content, relaxation, thoughtful, responsive, intimate, serene, loving, sentimental, trusting, thankful, nurturing, confident, faithful, intelligent, important, worthwhile. You see, as I'm just saying that, like my body's like going up. Valuable, respected, satisfied, proud, cheerful, exciting, daring, sexy, fascinating, energetic, stimulating, playful, amused, creative, extravagant, aware, and delightful. I want to bring love and light into your life by helping you identify your emotional energy centers, where your personal triggers are, so that we can break free from those old beliefs systems that no longer serves you. So welcome to the channel. If you are new to the channel, we are the women of generational curse breakers. And so give me a high five by subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bar so that you are notified when I go on live. I decided to do live only because it's what I'm managing all these other businesses. I don't have time for editing. So um so it is what it is. I'm gonna just do the live thing, the live videos, and then again, I can only do live videos through my computer, so it would be easier if I could do it from my phone when I'm at an airport or something like that. But so just bear with me as we continue to move forward on this train to health and wellness, both mind, body, and spirit. Love you.